Let's get more reaction to today's decision. We bring in Gordon Chang, author of several best-selling books. His latest one, The Coming Collapse of China and Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America. He's with us today, and also joining Gordon, Brylan Hollyhand. He's the chairman of the RNC Youth Advisory Council and the author of the book, One Generation Away. Welcome into Newsline. We're also going to talk about TikTok because you both kind of disagree on where the future of that app goes. So welcome, but first to Donald Trump. You know, Gordon, on the world stage, we know Donald Trump commands a lot of respect. Yes, they can label him a convicted felon, but ultimately, many say this is just a blip in the history books and really a black eye for the Democrats and Alvin Bragg.
Well, certainly a black eye. And I agree that this is what helped get him elected, because the American people realized that this prosecution in particular was unfair. It was biased. It was part of a campaign to prevent President Trump from being elected. And I think it will be a blip because I agree with you. Clearly, this was a made-up charge. The statute of limitations in any event applied, and it will be overturned on appeal. So, yes, blip is a perfect word.
We were watching it all play out, and it was like one indictment after the other. And you can't even imagine the strength he had to go with it, Brylan. But, you know, young men are turning more conservative. And I have to say, dovetailing on what Gordon just said, the fact he had a mugshot, you know, some were even saying they identified more with him. So it was almost the more they go after him, they felt like he is one of us. He is not an elite above us. And he's taking this lawfare because ultimately he didn't have to do this. He could have stayed in the private sector. But for him to go through this, survive, you know, 2 assassination attempts, he was their man.
You're exactly right, Bill. It's a dark day in American history. I mean, this is something that should not have happened. There was no case from the beginning. I think one of the most powerful moments of today's hearing was when President Trump over Zoom said, listen, the American people saw clear what you did in this courtroom, and they still voted for me in a landslide. Every single swing state still voted for me. That was powerful. That was a powerful moment of rejection by the American people. The American people said, hey, we're rejecting this political persecution. And political persecution is exactly what this is. We spent Trump's first term saying that they were going after him, the deep state was going after him. This made it very clear to, like you said, young men and really everybody out there that Donald Trump is enemy number one of the weaponization of government. They went after him and they voted for him because of that.
Yeah, well, thank you for weighing in on today's historic virtual proceedings. We wanted to talk to you both about TikTok because there's a lot of debate on whether or not it should be banned. It's Chinese owned. Brylan, you are actually staying on as the youth counsel for Donald Trump. He joined TikTok during this election, and you are saying out of 3 things you want him to do, one of them is staying on TikTok. I'll let you explain that. But first, Gordon, I know you have been on the record saying, let's ban it because the risks are so great. And we saw what happened during the conflict initially, the way the algorithm was showing certain things with Israel, Gaza that really shaped consciousness. So tell us why you think TikTok needs to be banned in the United States.
Yeah, TikTok needs to be banned or sold to a non-Chinese party. And there are 2 reasons. First of all, China has been using the app to illegally take the data of Americans. And certainly they're going to use it for malign purposes. But also, as you point out, TikTok has been used to propagate Chinese narratives, and they use the curation algorithm to do that. So, for instance, right after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, we saw Russian disinformation on TikTok. And during Iran's attack on Israel, 96.5% of the videos on Hamas on the platform supported the terrorist group. That's not an accident. We have seen other instances of use of TikTok. The Chinese military has used it to promote violence in the United States. So this case is not about the First Amendment. It's about conduct. They're not going after the content on the app. They're going after China's conduct. And if we can't ban this or take it away from China, then we're not going to be able to defend our country from a malicious and malign attack from the Chinese regime.